Most tax pros leave a message.
It's Jane. I'm moving on to a TurboTax expert who beat your price. Adam Devine, tell him how I feel.
Hey, tax pro, she's been thinking twice. Best believe TurboTax will beat your price. This is a tax break.
Switch to a TurboTax Live expert and we'll beat what you paid your pro last tax season. Make the switch at TurboTax.com/beatyourprice. TurboTax full service only. Sign up by 12/20/2024 and file by 4/1/2025. Full details at TurboTax.com/beatyourprice.
She did mention to me that she wanted to surprise her fiance at the time. And I said, are you sure? Because I typically consult everyone who's gonna be in the space. Even the office space, her business partner was the person that I knew. And I let my friend know, I said, you're sharing this office space. Both of you have to be in the consultation.
This is the plaintiff, Anne. She says she was hired to style the defendant's office and bedroom. And after she was 95% done, the defendant told her not to come back because she hired someone else to finish the job. The woman still owes her $250, and that's just what she's suing for in this courtroom today. This is the defendant, Stephanie. She says the woman botched up her bedroom. It looked like a blind person did the painting, and she had to hire someone else to repair her paint splattered and streaked walls. Owe her another $250? No way. She's accused of ending things. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $610, the amount she paid to fix the plaintiff's botched job.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milan in our forum, the People's Court.
People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milan presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay. The Voluptuary LLC, represented by Dr. Ann?
Yes.
Okay. You are suing Stephanie and Jennifer?
Jennifer.
Okay.
It's really, she's suing me for my bedroom area. She's suing
for your bedroom area. You have a counterclaim against her that includes something that has to do with the office.
Right.
Let's talk to you first. What happened?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. So I met the defendant through a friend of mine, Jennifer, who is her business partner, who brought me in to style their office space.
Okay, and what kind of office do you guys run?
mental health therapy.
Okay.
And so when the defendant saw the work I was doing, she asked, would you be able to do my bedroom? And I said, okay, it's gonna be a little bit, tight on time, but I will do my best. And so essentially the defendant went through the same exact process that I did in styling the office space.
Okay, how much did you charge to style the office space?
$500.
And how much were you charging her for her bedroom?
$500.
Okay, so go on.
And so
the $500 is just your services, right?
Correct.
It's whatever, anything else she has to pay for, anything new you buy that she picks out or whatever.
Correct, exactly.
Okay.
It's just for the labor.
Let me understand, how are you a doctor?
Oh, I have a PhD in education.
A PhD in education,
yes.
Got it. And then how long have you been doing this kind of work?
I've been doing this work, I would say professionally, for about a year. Informally, I've been doing it for over 10. I've always painted all of my own homes, all of my apartments. I've helped family members source and style their furniture,
right,
and style their homes free of charge. But professionally, I would say a year.
So this is you've decided you no longer want to work in education?
Oh no, I work in education as well.
Oh, you do. So this is like a side gig.
Yeah, exactly.
And you don't need a license to do that in your state.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Well, most states don't, but in any event. So now you agree to do her bedroom, and what is the plan on the bedroom? What's the theme, or what's going on?
Yeah, so we did, I create a mood board, which goes over, the style of the room, the color palette, the design choice, and we went with a Moroccan theme, Moroccan romance. Her bedroom at the time was gray, and she said she wanted it to be warm, she wanted it to be, feel cozy, not cold, not sterile. So, I presented her with the mood board. We did that call over Zoom.
Is this the mood board?
That is the mood board.
Okay. So what color does she end up picking?
So she ended up going with deep red, as well as
on the walls.
On the walls, yep. We did a few colors.
But she picked the color, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything that was done was in consort with her. It was not a surprise. It was not anything. She did mention to me that she wanted to surprise her fiance at the time, and I said, "Are you sure?" Because I typically consult everyone who's going to be in the space, even the office space. Her business partner was the person that I knew, and I let my friend know. I said, you're sharing this office space. Both of you have to be in the consultation, because as a professional, you shouldn't just work with one person.
And she said, no, I want it to be a surprise.
That's what she said.
Okay.
And
this was her new husband? Is this your first husband?
Yes.
And you knew what takes the rest of us like 20 years to figure out, that it's better to just leave him out of it entirely? Good for you, girl.
She approved the mood board. She liked the theme. And so essentially, I created a spreadsheet that had all the items that she could buy to update the furniture. It included bedroom, nightstand, sconces to put on the wall next to the bed. And so basically, she from every phase, what I will say is that she had to approve everything.
All right, so she wanted it done as a surprise for when she came back from the honeymoon?
From the wedding.
From the wedding?
Yes.
Did you guarantee to her that you would be done then?
I did not. And in
fact, you specifically stated in a text that it's your son's birthday and that may be really tough, and she says, okay.
Exactly.
Try. All right,
and
everybody's on the same page. And then what happens?
So the first day I went to start putting up the paint on the walls was April 19th. And then I went back the day after my son's birthday party. I arrived at her house at 9:30 p.m. and I stayed until 3, like a little bit after 3 in the morning, just to make sure the whole paint job was finished. However, even when I started the job, the bedroom was in the middle of the room. It was never her bedroom.
Set?
Her bed.
She didn't remove it out of the room?
No.
Did you ever tell her to remove it?
I did, and I knew
you told her you need to remove the bed?
I did. I said I do need the room free and clear. However, I was trying to work around with the time constraint. And I started the job anyway. And I know that that was my mistake, because I shouldn't have, because people that style, if they don't have the space free and clear, they typically won't even begin, because that's a liability on you if you damage something or if something goes wrong.
Exactly. So in any event, you paint and you do, how much work do you get done?
I got 95% of that work done.
I don't want you to guess. I want to decide if it's 95%. So tell me exactly what you got done. You painted?
Oh yeah, I painted everything. I was able to there was a patch of the ceiling I couldn't get to because the bed was there. But I did paint the ceiling. I painted all the walls. I painted the fireplace. There was a remote electrical fireplace that she didn't like, and I painted that as well to match the theme. I bought pillows. I bought curtains. I bought.
So your design fee also includes you painting?
Yes, it includes the labor and the services. So it includes the shopping, finding, sourcing the furniture.
How do you make money if you're only charging $500?
I mean, listen.
Who is that?
Listen, I was trying to
build your business?
I was trying to build my portfolio, number one. Yeah. Number two, this is somebody that came from a friend of mine. And so I've learned my lesson.
But it's one thing to design. It was already cheap just at designing, but you're painting. That's really, all right. So in any event, what was left to do?
What was left to do was to touch up and finish the ceiling, and if there was anything in terms of, cleaning up and also assembling anything, because my partner was actually gonna come with me the last day to finish, because it was, he saw how much work I was doing going up and down, and he was like, if you had an extra set of hands, it would help you. So we were trying to figure out, okay, if it's just to finish, I'll help you go finish. And that Monday, April 25th, I did message that to her. I said, my partner wants to come help. We would really like to come on the weekend. Let me know if that's okay. And we'll, just let me know if that's fine. And she goes, I can't have my house in disarray. I thought it would be done by now. So what I did was I hired somebody to come and finish.
When did you hire somebody to come in there?
Basically, the next day or two, I had my contractor come in to take a look at it. And after he took a look at it, the following day after that, he started.
Why didn't you just give her a chance to come back and make it finish up? Because she told you she wasn't finished.
Okay, so she did say that she was done with all the trimming and she just has to clean up. So when I saw the work that was done, when my husband saw it first because he came a day before me, and he called me, he was like, oh my God, like the paint job is like atrocious.
Okay.
And so I came home the following day and I saw like all the trimming, it was completely off. It wasn't painted correctly, and she was saying that she completed the trimming.
Okay, let's look at pictures that prove what you're saying. Do you have pictures to prove what you're saying?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So what is this? She had said there was a portion of the ceiling that she couldn't get to because the bed was right on top of it.
Correct.
Right, and she had asked for you to take stuff out. So that is not something for you to complain about. This is a problem because somebody has to move that bed. Mm-hmm. All right, so so this picture doesn't show me something she did wrong, does it?
No, it's just showing that the work is incomplete still.
Well, yeah, but she's been very clear that she wasn't complete. But show me what she said was complete and wasn't.
Okay, so this should.
Because I got to make sure it's not that who's the husband? I got to make sure that it's not that your husband said, "What you doing here? I don't like this Moroccan theme." Because did you repaint this?
No, it's still the same colors, but the contractor there was streaks. It wasn't painted correctly.
Okay. But that's stuff that can be repaired, right? I mean, you can, listen, it's your bedroom. If you want to make the decision to hire a contractor, you can. But I have to make the decision on whether she breached a contract or you precipitously breached the contract by saying, no, don't even come back. I don't even want you back. So, all right, what does this show?
Right, so all the edges on the corners of all around the bedroom were still like incomplete, as if like normally you would put tape to have it painted correctly.
A clean edge.
Yeah, none of the edges were clean.
Right, but these are things that, you come in and you have a punch list for the contractor or the painter and you say, you need to, I can't accept it like that. You gotta clean that edge up, and then they clean that edge up, right?
Right, and then at one point you see my recess lights were also painted as well.
Okay, these are your recess lights in your bedroom?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. She painted the outside of them, which you shouldn't have done. You should have disconnected the light.
Correct.
Yeah, or put tape on it. Why did you do it this way?
Correct. I mean, I have them, and I was actually going to suggest when I came back to replace the recess light covers, because it's just the cover, it's not the actual lighting.
Right.
And you can change them, to have whatever color you want.
Yeah, I wouldn't
reflect.
have painted it. I would have, and obviously that needs to be, painted better or whatever it needs to be. But, she told you she didn't finish. So what is this?
Well, my sockets, she painted over the sockets.
Yeah. Is this a certain kind? What am I looking at here?
And so maybe because you can't really see it clearly, but it was streaks and it wasn't properly painted. Like I said, she said she painted everything. Everything was done.
Is this a solid color or is this?
So that is actually a metallic paint. Yeah. It's a copper paint, and the way you apply it, you do have to wait. So you have to apply it. It has to dry. You have to come back. It has to dry. So what I let her know is I had intentions to come back. It wasn't that, and honestly, when people talk about unprofessionalism, like as a professional person, I've never had that attributed to anything that I do. And I just think that that's incorrect.
So what did she say to you?
She basically, when I called, she said she's gonna give me $100 because she hired somebody else to come in at $150. And I was really upset, but I didn't want to get into a back and forth exchange because I just felt like it wasn't going to go anywhere because she probably had made up her mind already. And I was willing to see if she would at least send the $100. And she never sent the $100 that she said she was going to send. And when I sent an email asking for it, and I actually copied her business partner on it. And I did that because...
You sent an email asking for what?
Oh, for the remainder of the balance.
The $250, not the $100.
The $250, right? And then I had said, I didn't even get the other amount that, you said.
And why didn't you send the other amount?
Because at the time, because she was like harassing me, basically. She sent me a couple of emails, and she's basically saying, well, listen,
She never accepted the offer of $100.
Yeah, send me my $250.
Yeah.
Like, she was adamant about that.
All right, so now you have a counterclaim against her for $610, $470 of it. Money's paid to paint bedroom. Now, according to her, you had told her you paid somebody $150. So how is it that now you paid $350?
Because I didn't realize how much more it was going to be, because I was just going off of whatever balance. Because I said, okay, I'll give you the $100, and then whatever $150 balance, I'll just pay that, like thinking that
But why
balance
would you
from her.
decide how much you were going to deduct from the $250 without knowing how much the paint job would be?
Yeah, you're right. Because honestly, I was trying to be. I didn't want to cause any problems because I know her and my partner that I share office space. They were friends, so I was like, let me just give her something so that way I don't cause any type of drama. But it still happened.
Well, yeah, because legally you have to give her an opportunity to finish the job. No one told you the job was finished. You know. Now. You're also suing for an office wall. Tell me about that.
So in the office, she put sheets on the wall that
Fabric?
Fabric sheets with I don't know if she used starch or something on the wall, but it was uneven. It was starting to peel off, so I had to basically take it off and have that wall repainted because it was stained and it was horribly
When
done.
did that happen?
This all happened simultaneously. This was around because I was away for my wedding during that time. So she was doing both the bedroom and the office around the same time. And I have video
Okay,
of
this is the office?
Yes.
So this is the office. And these are what? These are fabrics?
Yeah, I believe like sheets or something.
Okay, and then you're saying these fell off?
Yeah, it stained the wall and it was uneven. So it wasn't even hanging on correctly.
Did you ever tell her, hey, this is uneven, we don't like what you did, and I want our money back?
No, I did not because I didn't
Okay.
see it fully.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not loving this whole fabric thing. But, you know, I didn't pick it. You picked it. So how much did it cost to put the fabric up?
I charged them, like I said, $500 for the labor.
Was the whole design, including all of your labor. So how much did the fabric itself cost?
I believe the fabric altogether was probably $60. I would have to check the receipts, but I did have the itemized receipts for it.
Right. Why would she ever reimburse you for changing your mind and deciding you wanted to paint it instead?
Well, like I said, that's because the wall ended up, if you see,
Right.
like,
Now
the
I need you to
wall
prove what you're saying. She damaged the wall. I see fabric that, you know, I don't love how it's uneven and all that stuff, but it's what you guys picked out. It didn't work, whatever. Okay, I get it. Or you want her to fix it. Listen, I want this to be really sleek. Put a trim, do something. I don't like how this looks. That would be okay. But instead, you take it off and you tell me, trust me, Judge, the wall is damaged, but you haven't taken a single picture. Of all the pictures and videos, there's not a single picture of wall damage?
No, okay.
Right. All right. So, and your counterclaim is for $610, $120 for wall damage that we just talked about, $350 that you say you paid to someone else. Do you have a receipt for that, the $350?
I have a invoice that.
And then $140 to replace and install 4 recessed lights. Isn't it just the outside of it that's the problem?
Well, I had my contractor come and do that stuff for me, so I don't understand. I don't know, like, how exactly it works.
Did he actually charge you $140?
Yeah.
And then what's your answer to the painting of the
Yeah, no, I can admit that, you know, I probably shouldn't have done it. However, I've worked with that paint before, and you can't, because of the material of the cover, you can take it off.
How? By taking a nail and spending 2 hours going like this or more?
I mean,
2 hours was not nearly enough.
On Amazon, they have the covers and they're $3.25 each.
Right.
And so if I was, you know, had I been given the chance to go back and see what was there.
Now, she makes a point there, because if you tell her, what is this? Why did you paint over it? I didn't tell you to paint over it. I want my trim to look like trim. You know, she would have gone, she would have undone the bulb, she would have put in the new housing, because those are clips, that's nothing, I've done that before. And then she would have put the bulb back in. You ended up paying somebody, according to this, $140 to do it. But why would she have to reimburse that exorbitant amount? It's not like the guy did electrical work.
But even so, if I had the opportunity to have that conversation.
Do you have proof of payment, like, other than this piece of paper that, like, do you have an actual original invoice or anything? Do you have the check that you paid the contractor?
No, I actually paid by cash.
Okay.
So.
All right. What do I do with the fact that you never gave her a chance to come in and cure anything that you were complaining about, that you kind of jumped the gun? That's where my problem lies. So I'm going to order you to pay the $250 that you owe her. And on your counterclaim against her, you know, if you had given her a chance to come back in, you know, she would have made all that right. Do you think someone who charges $500 for their services and spends days and days and days picking out stuff for you, that she's a budding businesswoman who wants to do this and get clients and get referrals? You think she wouldn't have changed the lights at her cost? You think she wouldn't have? You needed to have given her a chance to finish. Ordering you to pay her the $250, and on your counterclaim, $0.
So the plaintiff is convinced the judge she deserves to get the rest of her money, and the judge has awarded her the $250 she sued for. The defendant gets nothing for her countersuit. Stephanie, let me ask you, what do you think about what the judge had to say? You don't get anything for your countersuit.
I'm not really happy about it, but at the same time, this is a learning lesson, basically to really vet out who you're hiring and look at the work that they've done prior to.
I have to ask you, what was your first reaction when you went in and saw the apartment, the room?
I was actually upset because it looked like a unfinished job that would have taken more time to complete.
That's kind of a mild reaction. I thought you were going to say you were horrified.
Well, I really was. Really was.
All right. I can understand that. I can definitely understand it. Listen, I'm sorry, but the judge has made her decision. You're going to have to live with it, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Very good. We're going to talk to Ann now, who has prevailed. She's going to get the $250 back. Ann, tell me, what's your reaction?
I'm just happy that justice was served. I think as a professional, I treat people professionally, and she had all the pictures, all the status updates in real time. I was communicative, and at the final hour to just say, forget it, like that's just actually not how business actually works. So.
You must admit, though, it does look like there was a lot left to still be done.
I think the fact that I pulled 2 12.5-hour days, I didn't say I was done, and I think that there were some things to update. However, when you're styling a space, you do need the space to be free and clear, and I was gracious enough to start knowing that, and I still got a lot of the head work done. And so, I think any professional always wants a chance to finish their work so they can have, final images and things for their portfolio, and I didn't get that, but I'm just happy that my time, talent, and energy doesn't go for naught, and that I did get the payment rendered to me.
All right, very good. Well, congratulations, you have prevailed. Good thing you sued.
Thank you.
So that'll wrap it up. Thank you very much for your presence here, and good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, Harvey.
So, Doug, there's a principle in the law that if you hire somebody to do work and they mess up here and there, you do have to give them an opportunity to fix it before you can turn around and sue for whatever. You can't just hire somebody else if it's a reasonable amount that they have to correct. If it's way, way beyond reasonable, that's another issue. But if it's reasonable, you got to give them an opportunity to come back and fix the problem.
Are the two of you planning on renewing your wedding vows?
Are we going to renew our wedding vows? I don't know. Yeah, I haven't really thought about that, Marilyn. Do I have some time to opt in or opt out?
Yeah, you have the 30-year rule is coming up where you can say, nah,
I did handle your parents' renewal of their wedding vows
on their
after
50th.
50 years, right? 50th.
Right.
And it's just unimaginable that we're coming up to 30.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, only old people are married that long. That's us, right?
Us.
Oh my God. So, we haven't even, that's coming up in like 3 months, 4 months or something.
I don't need to renew vows. That's very sweet and everything.
How about, we haven't even planned a trip. Anything.
Oh, about
dinner.
That.
Nothing.
About that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're 30th wedding anniversary.
We're going on a safari.
We are?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. You're taking me on a safari. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you.
Oh, okay. All right. Like a pinball safari?
No.
You mean, where you go to different areas where there's pinball?
No.
Okay. A real African safari?
Yes.
Okay. Do I have to get shots?
Yes.
Oh, jeez. Okay. All right. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
This is the plaintiff, Elizabeth Loeffler. She says the defendant's dogs attacked her dogs in an unprovoked, downright scary incident. She has witness statements her dog was injured. The defendant can deny liability all she wants, but she's here suing this irresponsible lady for the $8,000 she's now owed. This is the defendant, Flo. She says there's no way her brother's dogs got out, because when she returned home, the dogs were still tethered to their doghouses. This is a case of mistaken dog identity. There are lots of roaming dogs in this neighborhood, and she doesn't owe this lady anything. she's accused of letting the dogs out.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says that the defendant's dogs ruthlessly attacked her dog, and she wants $8,000 for the vet bills and other expenses. Now, the defendant says her dogs didn't get loose. This is a case of mistaken dog identity, and she owes Zippo. It's the case of who let the dogs out.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, Ms. Loeffler, what happened?
I was walking my two dogs. I walk my two dogs every morning and every night. At the time, I had 3 dogs. I have 2 right now. I walk them 2 at a time. I've been doing that since I got my first dog, Ella, in 2017.
Okay, and your dogs are what kind of dogs?
One of them is a long-legged Chihuahua. One of them is a mix. He's Chihuahua, Dachshund, and a miniature pinscher. And then my other dog is a Yorkie Poo.
All right, so you're walking in the morning, and this happens in the morning?
Yes, it happened at 6:30 in the morning.
6:30 in the morning. All right, so what happens?
So I was walking down 19th Street, and I turned north to walk on the street that the defendant lives on. I don't know her. I've never spoken to her before, but I know her dogs. I know all of the dogs in the neighborhood because I walk all my dogs twice a day. And so at the time, I had 3 dogs. One of them, Smokey, was a foster that I was keeping for a neighbor for a while. And so I was doing 2 walks a day because I can only walk 2 dogs at a time.
Okay, so what happened? Tell me about the attack.
Okay, so I turned the corner. It was about 6:30 in the morning. It was just starting to get light out. It was still a little bit dark outside. And as I turned the corner and started walking up the sidewalk, her dogs were just there. They were just, all of a sudden, they were just right there. And one of the dogs had picked up one of my dogs, and really the first thing that I saw is he was shaking the dog. And at that time, I didn't know which dog it was. And so I went to grab for the dog, and I grabbed him away from that dog, and he let him go. And that's when I saw that it was Marty. And then when he let him go, he grabbed the other dog and picked him up. And I dropped his leash and I said, "Smokey, run," because Smokey's really, really fast. So I figured the best thing for him to do was try and outrun that dog. And so Smokey took off. The dog took off after him. The other dog that was there the whole time, but he didn't grab either one of the dogs or attack.
What kind of dogs are these?
These are pit bulls.
Okay. And you've seen them in your walks before, so you know what house they belong to. But
correct. And there was one other time when the gray one, man, had gotten out one other time and confronted me and Marty and Ella on a walk, but did not grab either one of them. Just did the same thing, ran up to us. And then I got really scared, picked up my 2 dogs, ran away, and he ran back to her house.
Did you ever knock on her door and tell her, "Hey, lady, why do your dogs keep getting out?" Or did you ever file a complaint when that happened the last time?
The first time I did not file a complaint because nobody got hurt.
Bet you wish you had now, though, right? Because it's a violation to have loose dogs, but especially pit bulls, right? All right, so now.
What I did was I actually stopped walking past her house for a while, but I walked past it that morning.
All right, so you tell Smokey to run, and then what happens? What do you see?
That dog, the dog that had grabbed both of them, that dog chased after him.
Okay.
And so I
By the way, how far were you from the defendant's house at that point?
I was literally on the sidewalk right in front of her house.
Okay. So do you find Smokey? Do you see what happens with Smokey and that dog?
Smokey ran down the street. The other dog chased him. I picked up Marty, started running back towards my house. I saw the other dog running back without Smokey, and I saw the other dog run back to her house. And then Smokey was waiting about a block and a half away, and he was waiting for us.
All right. And when you got Smokey, what condition was Smokey in?
He had been bitten. He was not hurt nearly as bad as Marty was. Smokey had a little puncture wound on his chest. Marty had a huge gash to his throat, and he had a big gash over his eye, and his lips were all bruised, like they'd scraped or something. And then his chest was swollen and bruised as well.
All right. So you ended up spending $1,973 on the 2 dogs at the vet, right?
Correct.
And this time you did call animal control, right?
I did.
And what did animal control do?
So they called her She, I guess, told them that it didn't happen.
Miss Flo, let me hear from you.
Or it wasn't her dogs.
Miss Flo, let me hear from you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, what happened?
Your Honor, I was taking care of my brother's 3 mixed pit bull dogs. On the morning of Monday, November 22nd, before I left for work, I confirmed that the 3 dogs was tied in the yard.
Tied how?
On the chain.
Okay.
Later that evening, I returned home from work, and the 3 dogs was still tied in the yard.
All right. What time do you leave? What time do you leave?
Between 8:45 and 9 o'clock a.m. in the morning.
Because this happened at 6-something in the morning.
I didn't hear nobody come to me and tell me anything.
Right, because she had other things on her mind, like her 2 dogs that she didn't want to have die. So she was taking them to the vet. She wasn't knocking there to talk to you about what happened. But that night, animal control went to your house, right?
Yes, ma'am. Later that evening, I returned home from work, and the 3 dogs were still tied in the yard, and Missy was still running around.
Well, when you woke up in the morning, what time did you wake up?
I wake up about that time. I mean, I wake up early.
Okay, at 6:30 in the morning, where were the dogs?
In the yard.
You just had them chained up for how long in a yard? The dogs, pit bulls, chained up in your yard for how long? They never get unchained?
No, ma'am.
Never. You just have them chained back there. So, are they ever unchained, or are they just never unchained?
No, no.
Never unchained. Okay. So when animal control goes to your house, they talk to you and you tell them, I don't know what you're talking about because my animals are always chained. But according to Ms. Loeffler, this has happened before. And those animals have gotten out before. You say you're taking care of them. How long have you been taking care of them?
Oh, how long? I don't know.
Years, 2 years.
About a year or so.
Okay, the person next to you is who? Who's telling you what to answer?
That's my daughter.
Okay. I need the answers to be from you and not from your daughter. So I realize she's trying to be a good daughter, but I can't have her answering.
I guess about a year or so.
Okay, that's not a temporary thing. That's your dogs, all right? And I have the plaintiff saying she not only knows that those dogs have been there for years because she mentions it, but also that she knows what house they're in because she had been trying to avoid it. And then that day she wasn't thinking and she walked by there and then saw the dog run back to that house. So I'm finding it hard to believe that it wasn't those dogs. And I know she's not just making it up after trying to figure out who has pit bulls because animal control is in your house that night. And they gave you a ticket, right? They gave you 2 tickets.
No.
Animal control didn't give you tickets?
No, ma'am. They came to my house. When they came to my house, when I got home, the dog was still tied up in a yard. I did not receive any citation. Animal service left.
She was given 2 citations.
She sure was. You were given 2 citations.
There was one for an animal running at large and one for an unlawfully tethered animal. And then she was issued a warning for having...
And a vicious animal warning was also sent. And he was going to give you a citation for no tags, but you got the tags, so he voided those.
I spoke to her next door neighbor, and I spoke to the neighbor 2 doors down who says that her dogs are running around all the time and terrorizing the block. And those are the 2 written statements that I included.
Ugh.
Those are all the photos I sent as well. And her dog, the gray pit bull, is not ever chained up. The gray pit bull is always running loose.
You're suing for the vet bill, an investigator fee. You had you're a lawyer, right?
I am.
And your investigator went out there and asked a few questions and found some neighbors for you. Have you paid your investigator $240?
I asked my investigator to submit an invoice to be compensated for that. I have not paid him yet, and he won't take any money for it yet.
Right. Okay.
So,
all right. And now you also are suing for punitive damages, $5,786.40. What kind of law do you practice?
I'm a criminal attorney, criminal defense.
Criminal defense.
I was a prosecutor, and I'm a criminal defense
attorney.
I
was a prosecutor for all of my career. And so why would you be entitled to punitive damages if a dog accidentally gets out?
Because it's not the first time that her dog has gotten out, and she knows that her dog gets out. And I have the statement from the neighbor that says it's not the first time that the dog has gotten out.
What is wrong with everyone? If 2 pit bulls or 3 pit bulls are roaming your neighborhood, call animal control. How is it that the neighbors say, oh, it's been happening for years, and they don't do anything? You say that they come up to you and you don't do anything. How is it that these animals aren't confiscated?
I don't know. I included a report of all the call-outs for that address from the Sarasota Sheriff's Office in the evidence that I submitted to you. And it's not my call was not the first time.
Yeah, but you just have the call-outs for police going there, or you have call-outs for animal?
For animals specifically.
How many times have the police been there for a loose animal?
4 times.
Well, then the police aren't doing their job. Because if pit bulls in particular are running loose 4 times, the authorities should be saying, that's it. You have no control. You need to move the dog. We're taking the dog. That's what should be happening. That hasn't happened, right?
Correct.
Well, you know what? Nobody can get on the back of the Sarasota Police Department like a criminal defense lawyer can. All right. So,
I mean, that's part of the reason why I filed the lawsuit.
I understand. Because it's never the dog. Okay, the dog is just being a dog. The problem is the dog owner if dogs keep getting out. I'm ruling in your favor in the amount of the vet bill and your court costs, and I'm going to presume that it is unnecessary to hire an investigator to canvass a neighborhood when you, of course, could do it yourself, right? That's not this kind of case.
I do. I actually happen to think that she has acted with gross negligence. Those dogs are chained up all day, every day. You don't do that to pit bulls.
And so the remedy for that is not gross negligence that caused a tort on you. That is animal cruelty. So pursue that. You know, but that doesn't add a punitive damages clause to your vet bill. I'm ruling in your favor in the amount of the vet bill, $1,973.60, plus, of course, your court costs.
So the plaintiff prevails, $1,973 plus court costs. That's what she's going to get from the defendant. Flo, you're the defendant. What are you thinking right now?
Yeah. All I can say, I wasn't there, and...
Well, the point is you've got to pay some attention to what's going on with these dogs. You've been ordered to pay the plaintiff almost $2,000. That's a big chunk of money. And these dogs apparently are running loose occasionally, plus being chained up all day long. That's animal cruelty. You understand all this?
They're gone.
They're no longer there? They've gone with your son? You were keeping them for your son?
My brother.
But bottom line is you're on the hook for $2,000. How about that?
Okay.
What do you think of that?
It wasn't my dog.
Yeah, it was in your care. The dogs were in your care. All right, let me ask Ms. Loeffler about your opinion, Ms. Loeffler. Did you hear what she just said? The dogs are gone. Do you believe that?
Yeah, I know. I live in the neighborhood, so I know that she doesn't have the dogs chained up in the yard anymore. I didn't know where they went, but I knew they weren't chained up in the yard anymore.
By the way, how are your dogs now? Are they okay? Have they recovered?
Well, Smokey completely recovered. He's doing great. Marty is physically, he's okay. He's got a little scar over his eye, but he's very afraid to go on walks anymore. If we get more than a block away from the house, he gets tail between his legs, ears back. He starts pulling me back towards the house. He's afraid to go too far away. When I described it to my vet, she's like, he's afraid he's going to be eaten. So trying to work on that.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, congratulations, and thank you very much. Okay?
Okay.
And that'll bring this case to a close. All right. Harvey?
Doug, I mean, the leash law is everything. If your dogs get out into public and they're not on a leash, you can have all the excuses in the world. The bottom line here is it's a violation of the leash law, and you're probably going to lose in court.
Which child was the hardest to deliver and the longest labor?
Well, by far the first one, right? Because by the second and the third...
Came out a little faster. Well, you know, I got to tell you, for me, I think the first one was the hardest because that's the one where I almost fainted.
Well, was it hard for you? Was it? Because you kept thinking, because it was April Fool's Day, and you thought I was pulling your leg until I was really screaming.
Right.
Then we get to the hospital, and when she tells you it's happening, and it's not Braxton Hicks and false contractions, you faint, and all the nurses come off me and onto you.
The whole team was on
me. The whole team was on you.
One of them looks back at you. I go, don't worry about her. She'll be fine.
She's strong as an ox.
She'll be fine.
Right. Yeah. The other two, actually, by the time I had Alex, which was my second one, the gossip columnist at the Miami Herald wrote, Judge Milan, known for her rocket docket, had a baby in 2 hours.
Right.
I'm like, thanks a lot, girl. Yeah.
You don't like that publicity?
I don't like the visual.
You spit the baby out in no time.
But my other two children were with Pitocin, which is a drug that induces labor.
So you knew when it was coming.
Yeah, I knew it was coming.
So you had the
pedicure, makeup.
Right.
The first one, I was like, I've been hit by a truck.
Right. But you look like $1 million on the other two.
Yeah.